The neon sign was the first thing Daniel saw through the curtain of rain, a crooked red vacancy buzzing in the dark like a dying insect. The rest of the building sat in shadow, a squat single-story strip of peeling paint and closed doors, crouched at the edge of the highway as if ashamed of being noticed. His wipers slapped uselessly against the windshield, smearing the water instead of clearing it. And for a moment, he thought about pushing on, finding a better place down the road. But the gas gauge hovered just above empty, and the storm was coming down harder. He pulled in. The gravel crunched under the tires, a sound swallowed almost immediately by the steady roar of rain. The office door was unlocked, swinging inward with a creak that was far too loud for an empty room. There was a counter, a register, a dusty rack of local maps, and a little brass bell. He rang it. The sound seemed to hang in the air longer than it should have, as though the walls were holding onto it, unwilling to let go. After a moment, a man appeared from a back door, tall, thin, his hair slicked to his skull like wet rope. His eyes were too pale, almost colorless, and when he smiled, Daniel saw that one of his front teeth was gone. "Room 7, the man said without asking Daniel's name or how long he planned to stay. He slid an old-fashioned brass key across the counter. The tag was wood, the number burned into it as if by hand. Daniel took it, feeling the warmth of it against his palm, strange given that it must have been sitting on the counter for hours. He stepped back into the rain, which somehow seemed colder now. Room 7 was at the far end of the strip, half hidden from the rest by a leaning soda machine with no lights in its display. The lock turned with a heavy, grinding sound, and the door opened onto a room that smelled faintly of mildew and something sweeter, like overripe fruit. The carpet was a dull, matted green. The bedspread was patterned with flowers that might once have been cheerful, but now looked wilted. The lamp on the nightstand flickered when he turned it on, casting shadows that clung stubbornly to the corners. He told himself it was just a place to sleep, nothing more. He set his bag down and sat on the edge of the bed. That was when he noticed the sound, faint, irregular tapping, like water dripping somewhere behind the walls. He ignored it at first, pulling off his wet jacket, but as the minutes passed, the tapping began to seem less random, almost like a rhythm. 3 taps, pause. 3 taps, pause. The wind outside picked up, rattling the window, and the neon light from the sign seeped in around the edges of the curtain, painting the walls a sickly red. He tried the TV, static on every channel. The remote was sticky, as if someone had held it with hands coated in syrup. He put it down. The tapping continued. He decided a shower might help him shake off the unease. The bathroom was small, the mirror over the sink warped so that his reflection seemed to lean toward him. The shower water ran hot, steam filling the room quickly, but even over the hiss of the spray he could hear the taps, still 3 at a time, still with that same pause. It was coming from behind the tiled wall. He turned off the water and listened. The tapping stopped. He wrapped a towel around himself and stepped out, the air in the room now thick with that sweet smell. It made the back of his throat itch. He checked the window, still locked, and the door, bolted. That was when he noticed the notepad on the nightstand. He was sure it had been blank when he came in, but now there was a single line of writing in shaky block letters. Leave before midnight. His chest tightened. He opened the door, ready to go back to the office, but the rain outside had grown to a solid wall, the kind that blinds you past arm's length. He couldn't even see the sign. When he shut the door again, the room felt smaller, the air heavier. The tapping resumed, but this time it was closer, clearer, and between the sets of 3 he thought he heard something else, a wet, sucking inhale. He backed toward the bed, the floor beneath the carpet feeling oddly soft, almost spongy. The lamp flickered again and went out. Only the neon light remained, pulsing red through the curtain like a heartbeat. A knock came from the bathroom door. Not the wall, the door itself. 3 knocks. Pause. 3 knocks. He told himself he was alone, that there was no way anyone could be in there, but his legs were moving toward it before his mind caught up. His hand closed around the knob. Cold. The kind of cold that burns. The knocking stopped. He opened the door. The bathroom was dark, the air thick with steam that hadn't been there a moment ago. The mirror was covered in condensation, but in the center, someone had wiped a circle clear. His own face stared back at him, except the eyes were pale, almost colorless, and one of the front teeth was missing. Behind his reflection, in the dim blur of the room, something leaned forward, its mouth opening wider than it should have. He slammed the door. The tapping began again, faster now, the rhythm breaking into chaos. The smell in the room was overwhelming. He grabbed his bag, not caring about the rain, and ran for the door. But when he threw it open, it wasn't the parking lot outside. It was the motel office, the counter, the dusty maps, the pale-eyed man behind the desk. "Room 7, the man said, sliding the same warm key toward him. Daniel looked down. His hands were empty. His bag was gone. His clothes were dry. The rain had stopped. He opened his mouth to speak, but all that came out was a sound. 3 sharp clicks of his teeth. Pause. 3 clicks. Pause.